Oh,
Tom.
somebody got caught with their volume.
Me, I would never do that.
Buddy.
Rookie.
Whoa,
Hi,
you should have seen me
everybody.
backstage. I was dancing and rocking
bet.
out.
Were
I
you?
bet.
If only you could see.
Well, so we are on Thursday night. It's not 9 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now because we decided to change our time. Mainly because we're getting a little older, and we try to get to bed before it gets too late now.
That's true.
But we have a pretty awesome guest tonight. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I agree. I have to say that our guest tonight is probably, one of the first people I ever met in the field. And no offense to you guys, but probably one of my favorite people in the field.
I am hurt.
I'm fine with that.
That hurts my
Totally
soul.
fine with that.
Saying,
Well, and technically,
go.
they're the reason that we all know each other. So.
Well, that is correct.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give this man a little bit of an introduction, shall I?
Oh, here we go.
He is a published author. I've got his book here. You can buy his book on his shop. He's in the TV industry. He's an executive producer and a cast member on the Ghost Finders, not Ghost Files. Sorry. He produced and was on his own show, Behind the Shadows and Within These Walls. Most notably now, he's the executive in charge of production on a little show called Deathwalker. I'm not sure how many people have seen that before. It's a pretty good one. And a lot of people might know, well, he's a paranormal investigator, and that led him to, 10 years ago almost now, I did my little math a little bit ago. As long as my math fine.
His math is mathing
this week. Yes,
my math is mathing again.
This week is mathing.
In June of 2015, he bought the infamous Hinsdale house. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Klaes. How'd I do, Dan? Was that all right?
Yeah, that was great.
Did he miss anything?
Next thing you'll have he'll have him as a ring announcer.
I would like to see him in that outfit with the little card. Oh yeah.
That's like more of a boxing thing, but
he's gonna have the microphone come down from the ceiling.
Like that.
Like Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dan, what's new? How are you?
Doing good. Just taking it day by day, trying to maintain everything that's going on as far as stuff with my daughter, and then keeping the businesses going and just trying to keep things going. She's doing really well. Just start off with an update with Shaylee, because I haven't people do follow online, but she's gone through 3 surgeries since last year. It's been a year already. Basically, they've cut all the cancer out of her body at this point. They've replaced her tibia, her knee, and part of her femur. She's got a bionic leg, so she's learning how to re-walk again. They've had to go into both of her lungs and take out, we thought she had 8 little nodules in her lungs, and the doctor ended up finding, I think it's like 53 little pieces of calcified bone, which would have been cancer that calcified from the chemo treatment. So it was good that there still is viable cancer tissue in there. So she's going on another 6-month chemo regimen, an oral regimen that she's going to be able to take, but it'll allow her to get to some normalcy. Go back to school next year, and so we're working on PT, and we got a couple big trips coming up. Well, 3 of them. She's going to go to New York City to see Little Shop of Horrors. Ooh. And then we're going to be to Spanish Wells with my whole family for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary in July, which is in the Bahamas. We got like a little private island. And then she was granted a wish from Make-A-Wish, which she's getting granted a wish, and she decided to do Disney in Florida. So we're going to do stay at the Polynesian on one of those little, I don't know what they're called. They're on the water, little yurts or whatever. I don't know, but we're staying in a really nice, one of the nicest places on the Disney resorts, and it's going to be for 4 days, and then we get 2 days at Universal, which is going to be really cool. Then we get 1 day at SeaWorld, and then we have 1 day off we can either hang out at the beach, or we can go to Busch Gardens or whatever, basically whatever she wants to do. So it'll be a week of fun for her, and she'll get to cut in front of the lines, and
Nice.
because she has a hard time walking and stuff. So it'll be fun.
Good.
Well, I'm excited for her.
So looking forward to some fun things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
definitely.
deserves it. I mean, I know it was almost a year ago because I think it was Paris Icon last year.
Yep,
Where
it was.
I had found out what happened because you weren't able to make it. And I do want to like just kind of really quick let everybody know. I know most of you do follow Shaylee, and if you guys want to donate, we do have the QR code up in the corner over by Nate. That if you scan that with your phone, it'll actually take you straight to Shaylee's GoFundMe. You'll be able to donate. You'll be able to read about her story, how amazing she's been doing, and I swear she's the strongest girl I've ever known. So if you have, I mean, if you can, even if it's $1, $2, whatever you can, hit that QR code and go donate because it is going to such an amazing little girl. So, but Dan, I am so glad that she's doing better. I mean, it's definitely been something that I think we've all been praying and hoping for and just kind of watching along the way. So, with everything you guys have going on, like the updates, thanks for those. I appreciate that too. She
doesn't appreciate them as much, I think, but I told her, I said, people are vested and people want to know, even if it's a little thing here and there, she's like, she doesn't like having a lot of attention on herself. So I had to warn her about the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. I said, everybody's going to act like they're your best friend, like they know you. And I said, just don't get turned off from that. And take your ring, your run around the room and take your Batmobile ride and say hi to everybody, and it'll be fine, So she's excited to go to an event with me though, and that's gonna be fun because we're gonna actually get back from our vacation and then go right to the battlefield, right to Gettysburg after that. So
that's gonna be really cool. Yeah, tell her to get ready. She's gonna answer the same question a million times from everybody. So I'm sure she is. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for her. But and you know what, we'll be there, so we'll get to see you guys as well.
It'll be like a wedding day. Like boom.
Having to talk to everybody.
Yeah. But so other than that, what have you been up to? I know, Deathwalker was released, which you have, you're really in touch with. And Hinsdale House is always busy. I see it's already booking way out into 20. Yeah, I know. I already know how far it's booking because I was already looking. But
and why were you looking, Ashley?
Well, because I really like it there and I want to go film again and I want to make my 7th appearance there. So
she really wants to go fishing.
I want to go swimming in the lake.
I saw the minnows.
Yeah, I figured, like you have to have a healthy pond, and I started doing research on what to do to make a healthy pond. So we have bass and we have giant carp in there, and we had perch. I don't know if we have any perch left, but we're adding more bass, and then I'm going to add a couple thousand minnows. It was cool because when I went to put the minnows in, the minnows that I added at the end of last year, you could still see some of them swimming in there, which means they reproduced, which is great, which is good for the pond as far as that goes. Then we're going to put in some crayfish in the fall, which will be good food. And some will, there's the area over by the deck where it's shallow, so some of them will probably live and reproduce and hopefully make like a good ecosystem for that pond, keep it going well.
And that's one of the things we notice a lot. Like a lot of the money you bring in from Hinsdale, you put right back into the house to do different things. Like, obviously filling the pond, that's an expense that you are able to cover because people are always being there.
That are around. Wow, I liked those. Those were a new addition since the last time I was there. I saw those when we were there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the QR codes. We're gonna add 12 more of those this summer on the outside. And we have like a Wi-Fi. We're putting up a Wi-Fi extender, so we'll be able to put up the codes around the property, so people can scan them, like over by the walkway up to the giving tree, over by where we have the makeshift the memorial graveyard set up now. We just set that up about a month ago. So we actually got like a cast iron fence over by where we found the grave shafts over on the right side of the pond, and people donated a memorial marker, and then we put up the fence around it, and it looks really nice. So it's just not flags in the ground anymore. Now there's an actually dedicated area to remembering the forgotten.
So, with all these changes and updates that you've done since you've acquired Hinsdale, have you noticed any change in the activity, good or bad, with you making these changes? Because it seems from when you got it to now, a lot of the things you've done, or a lot of the things that you've done, has been in a very respectful way. And I just wonder, is that bringing out any new activity, or maybe changing it from where everyone thinks it's dark to maybe a little bit nicer? Or
Yeah, I mean, I feel like what I've done has brought on positive impact, and what the people that help out at the Hinsdale House have done, like Amy Perry Brock, who basically invented the giving tree, which is she every time she did an event there, when she used to do events there, she would work with the group of people that haven't investigated before, and they would like do an offering to the natives, and it just turned into this amazing giving, the giving tree, which is, you go up there and it's like a spectacle now of just like positiveness. Energies know that we have a mean positive instead of negative. And that was part of the thing I wanted to do. I wanted to bring light and love to the property and see if it did change, from that because it just had a negative vibe to it when I first got it. I never had a negative experience there per se. And I feel like a lot of the folks that are investigating there now are having a lot more positive returns than negative. I mean, every now and then you're getting something like a scratch, or some negative EVPs or something like that. And I don't think the energy just goes away, but I think the more positive you put into it, the more you can suppress that negative to bring out the positive actions of the energies that are there.
yeah, and the reason I asked, and I agree with that, because the very, very first time, and I don't know if you remember, but the very first time I ever went, and I do think the people you're with also have, the intention behind it also can kind of play a factor in what happens. But the very first time I ever went to Hinsdale, I left in the middle of the investigation. I drove to Wildwood because I wouldn't sleep at Hinsdale, and I told myself, I was like, I am never in my life going back to that effing house. And now I've been back like 6 times. And every time it's just like, aside from that first time, and again, I think it had to do with the people I was with, but every other time has been very positive and fun. And I leave and I can't wait to get back. And that first time was not that same feeling.
Yeah, I think the vibe has definitely changed since I bought it to what we have now. And I feel like the path that you're on, it's like a big puzzle. I guess the more puzzle pieces that you find, the better interaction that you're getting. It's like pushing us in the right direction. And I think like every time we do something positive with peace, figure something else out. And I don't know that we're going to know the 100% whole story, but try to get it as right as we can,
Well,
and that's respectful to the energies that are there.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, I'll let Nate take this, but I know he had questions because some of the rumors out there, there's some truth to the house, there's some rumor to the house. And I know Nate had a couple of things that he was going to get clarity on with you today.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have a house like that, and the way I worded it, like, you hear different stories because that's how things happen. One person says something to somebody, and the story changes. So there's lots of stories, but like we figured, let's go to the man himself. Like, who knows more about the house than Dan? He owns it. So the first one you kind of already answered. Bodies buried in the yard. That's a true story. Everybody knows that now because with Deathwalker and that episode on the last season where they did the ground penetrating radar. That was more, though, that was a newer one because the other ones were there a longer time before that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we had found the original ones in a different investigation with Nick, and then filming Deathwalker brought the ground penetrating radar again, and then found the new ones as well.
So how many total are on the land? or are you?
I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, the one that they found over by the entranceway of the pond looks more like a burial shaft, meaning that there's numerous bodies in one area, potentially. So
Mm.
probably like 3 or 4 in that one. And then in the back looks more like a graveyard plot, like they were buried that way purposely. They're in boxes and were purposely laid that way,
Mm.
probably like a family
Which,
or something.
you know, would make sense for an older house. A lot of times, you know, they did just bury their people in the backyard. If you weren't rich, you didn't get to go to a cemetery or anything like that. So it's not uncommon for something like that.
It's crazy. It's crazy because when that part of the side of the pond was not accessible, like they dug the pond and dumped all the dirt on the right side of the pond, and we actually had to like go in and remove all that and level it out to make it look
Mhm.
like it does today. And then we found that we found the foundation now that's there,
Mhm.
and we don't know what that's really to at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's just like we uncovered it. You know, we uncovered that area to bring it to make it look like it used to back in the day, because that would have been all flat land.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, how did you come across the house? Like that just made you want to buy it?
It was investigation with my team, Greater West New York Paranormal Society. My co-founder of the group, Cameron, booked the location for us to come and film Behind the Shadows there, and I usually was the one to get all the information on the locations, the prep team, kind of know what's going on. And this one, I walked in blind because I didn't know anything about the
Mhm.
location. And we got there, and his prep was to have us watch. He put down his computer and brought up the episode of A Dark Forest, A Haunting, A Dark Forest, that's based on the Hinsdale House story from the
Mhm.
1970s. And that's how we learned about the location, the failed structural exorcism, and all the crap that happened there. And I just said, I'm sitting in this house right now, and I wasn't mentally prepared, and I got kind of mentally freaked out. But that night we had really good communication. It seemed like every piece of equipment that we had brought was going off, like something was trying to speak to us or communicate with us. And I just, I've never had a circumstance like that before, going to different locations around the country and stuff, having that much equipment go off at the same time. And I know that there was no electricity just in the one room at the time, and it was the middle of winter. There were flies buzzing around in the house in December. So there was definitely some weirdness to the house, just having like bugs flying around in the middle of the winter, and then having infestations of them, and then they just go away, and there were hundreds and hundreds of flies, and then there's 0 dead flies anywhere, but they're all gone. Just like weird stuff happening, like that.
Mhm.
And I was very interested in it. I went back a couple more times. I didn't own it yet, and I had an experience after I started researching it about the Misnicks, Flo and Joe, the older couple that lived there until the 1986, I believe. And then I felt like I had a direct communication with Flo when all people ever did was talk about the exorcism, and the stuff that happened in the 70s. And it just got me to thinking that if I can communicate with Flo and Joe, there's got to be other people that lived here, other people that had experiences, other deaths. I mean, I had an experience with like no other with a K2 meter. I asked Flo if she would hold my hand as I went up the stairs, and the K2 meter stayed lit in my hand, and I felt like an electrical vibe up my arm, goosebumps,
That's cool.
all the way up the stairs. And that's what kind of swayed me into wanting to try to buy it.
And from what I saw, like you bought it at the very last second. Like they were ready to tear the house down, correct?
Yeah, they had ripped all the ductwork out, all the electrical. There was no electric in the house, and it was a shell. And
Mhm.
I had to basically go down to the owner, the bank, if you will, at the time, and tell them my ideas and what I wanted to do. And it was an as-is purchase. And they told me they'd put the electrical back to the house from the line, and then that was me from there. I had to buy it as is, and then restoration project started. From that point on,
Mhm.
it was the craziest thing that I've ever done in my life, and I look back driving up to the house and just having the contract in my hand and looking at the place and thinking, what the heck did I just do?
Mhm.
Like I wiped our bank accounts out, and it was just a crazy move, but sometimes you got to do crazy things in life when you feel
Absolutely.
passionate about them.
That
Well,
is
You
true.
look at it now, so
yeah.
like your
Yep.
house is one of the most popular houses to visit to do research in the entire country now. So that all worked out for you in the end.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
almost like you saved
absolutely.
that property. I mean, if it would have been knocked down, it might have just been a field. So you save the property, you save the entities that are on that property. I think it's really cool. It's almost like they spoke to you. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool,
Yeah.
but it's not from a lot of people.
Mhm.
It's not anything that I all did on my own. There's a lot of people throughout the past 10 years that have been involved with the location, that have helped out, and I have so much gratitude to them as well. Anybody that's played any little part in it, it's just it's an amazing thing that's happened with the location. I think a lot of people feel connected to it, and any chance that they could have to be part of something that's a positive thing. Because I feel like, man, the house is I've had marriages there now. I've had honeymoons there now. I've had my friend Louie off my team just got married to his wife, who he met at the Hinsdale house on a tour.
Aw.
That I made him go. I made him go on the tour with me, and I remember saying, "My God, Dominique, I think you should go after Dominique." And he ended up months later telling me he was talking to her, and now he's married with a baby with her. So I mean, I think the house has a way of bringing people together and bringing the community together uh, in regards to like positiveness, and that's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's probably the one location that I always get excited going to, and as soon as I leave, I'm like, okay, when's the next time I can get back? And it's weird because I hear a lot of people say that. Anytime I talk to somebody that's been to Hinsdale, they say the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, we just went and we're already thinking about it again. We're already thinking about when we can get back. So it does it just draws you in. I don't know what it is.
Well,
But
I
I
think
also
too, people that like the outdoors, especially if you're coming in the spring, summer, or fall, in the where it's nice to be able to go outside and have a fire. There's nobody around. It's like going camping too. Like you're at a campsite and you can have a campfire. You can play cornhole. You can take a kayak out on the lake and go fishing. There's other things that our teams are investigating and getting multiple days so they can experience having that downtime to actually enjoy the property as well during the day.
Yeah, we can hear a coyote destroy a goose in the woods at night. That was a great time.
Yeah, I
No,
remember that one.
Yeah.
I still think when the three of us were there, the weirdest thing is it was raining and we decided to go out to the pond and we're walking out there and I don't remember exactly because it blew my mind if it was me and Tom or me and Nate, but we were talking and we heard a man's voice go, "Hey," and we both turn around like, "Yeah," and there's no one there and we're like, who
Mhm.
was that?
Yeah, you guys thought it was me talking, and it
Yeah,
wasn't me. I'm
it
like, I
was
didn't say a word.
it was me and Ashley. Ashley, you were in front of me, and I was walking
Mhm.
behind you, and I thought Nate said hey to me because he had stopped, but he was right there, and it sounded exactly like him, and he
I
wasn't
just
saying a word.
I just remember like two of us turned around and we're like, who just said that? And then the best part is we actually caught the audio because we had cameras in our hands and we caught it and we caught the man saying, "Hey."
Oh, that's cool.
And then we went back inside pretty quickly.
But that's
In
because
the
of the
rain
rain.
too.
Well, yeah, we
That was
blame it on the
because of-
rain.
Yeah, it was 100% the rain.
The guy's blaming on the rain, yeah.
No, but I
That's
mean
what-
to catch an audible like that in the rain, I'm sure you could hear it on the like drips on the deck and stuff like that. So it had to be a very powerful audible voice in order to catch that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it was crazy. The entire time we were there, it was thunderstorming, and we were still getting voices and footsteps. And I mean, they were so loud you could hear it over the thunder and the lightning. I mean, it was incredible that whole time we were there.
That electrifies the house, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Of the land and the property, of the lightning, the electrical. It's really, I feel like it gives it energy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was definitely active that night for sure. Because I don't think Tom got any sleep.
No.
And why is that?
Well,
That's because every location.
Who goes to sleep anyway?
Well,
Yeah, right.
that too. But every location we go to, Ashley wakes me up in the middle of the night seeing something, then it goes right back to sleep. And then I'm left there going, awesome.
But Dan, the best part about it is like I don't remember it. I just wake up and will be like, hey, there's a little boy in the hallway, and then right back to sleep. And the next morning, I don't remember it at all. And Tom's like, you woke me up, told me there's a little boy in the hallway, and I'm just like, for the rest of the night.
Yep.
And I sleep through it, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Yep, so I'm the only one awake.
There's a little boy sitting on the bed with you. Okay, good night.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just awake the rest of the night going, oh, man.
Yeah, and the two of us are passed out, and he's just awake by himself.
Tom couldn't sleep because he felt like he was spooning with somebody. Other than Cat.
Right, yeah.
Well, and we also put him on the couch by the stairs, too. So all the footsteps that were going on all night were right by him. So.
Yeah, and someone tried to open that door.
Yes. Yeah. It was a good night. We got to get back. It was a good night.
So one of the other stories you hear all the time, Dan, what's the truth behind Hinsdale being a stagecoach stop? Do you have any truth to that whatsoever?
I don't have any proof that the house itself was a stagecoach shop or a stagecoach stop. However, we do have maps with the stagecoach route on the main road. In the field across the house, there is remnants of a way station. That the property was original to the Hinsdale house property. So, I mean, on the the corner where you turn in to go in, where they have the hanging tree, over in that area there is remnants of a way station. So, if they say, because originally the property was 100 acres, and that was part of the original property. If they are talking about that portion of the property being a stagecoach stop, then perhaps that may be what they're talking about. But as far as the house goes, it's just nothing that you can prove. It's all folklore because the road ends. But one other, the McMahon and the O'Briens that live there. Some of the descendants from the O'Briens that live in Pennsylvania came up to the house a few years ago, and the first thing that he said, and he's an old man now, he was there when he was a kid with his grandparents. He comes out and he goes, "Where'd the rest of the road go?" And then he said that he remembers the road going where the driveway is, and then behind the house up to the main road. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I always...
so that's that. I mean, that's his record.
It always kind of looked like there should have been a road that kept going just from the edge on that, where the driveway comes. So
yeah,
it would make sense.
So, I mean, we have the stories, and we have the recollection of Dan O'Brien, who lived there with his grandfather, of what it used to look like for him when he was a kid. And then, again, we don't know if that stagecoaches went through there, but there's all those folklore stories of, sometimes every story there might be a little bit of truth here and there, but we don't, there's no way to guarantee it.
Exactly.
But it's what makes Hinsdale House, I guess.
Exactly. Yep. I think that's it. People go in, and a lot of it, as investigators, that's what we're there to do, is try to investigate these stories and, see if we could maybe find evidence from, somebody on the other side that could fill in some gaps and then maybe guide your research in a different direction as well. So it's different things like that as well.
I thought it was I don't know if you were, Were you there, Nate, when we were over by the foundation and we had the geobox going and we said, how did the barn burn down? And then on the geobox that came through, it said insurance.
I do remember that actually. Yeah, that was I think the campfire night, wasn't it? With the story. Yeah.
Oh yeah, when we saw the UFO in the sky.
That's another thing. Yeah, that's another people have seen a lot of that kind of stuff at your house too. So you're not like just seeing the ghosts and stuff like that. People have seen things in the sky. You're not going to go anywhere. If you're from Buffalo, you go to Hinsdale, there's no light pollution whatsoever. You're in the middle of the fields and you could see the clearest sky you'll ever see, 100%. So that's another thing people have. How often do you hear things like that, Dan? Like people see UFOs and stuff like that.
People come there just for that sometimes, just to try to look for UFOs. I mean, we've had like SETI meditations out by the pond. They've tried to have direct communication with extraterrestrial life using lasers and different things. I mean, it's really interesting. And I've actually been there. Where they've done like these flashes, and then you can see a flash in the sky coming back, like really weird.
That's cool.
Like it blinks up in the sky, and it looks like a star, but it's you can tell it's not.
Well, and I've even heard of people telling me that while they were there, they tried tree knocking too.
Oh yeah. Well, there's been people that have come up and hunting Yetis and Bigfoots, and Mike Ricksecker, he had a casting done of a Bigfoot that he found, which is really cool. And that's just another aspect of it as well. I mean, we have caught those pictures, Jeff Fent, the pictures of the Pukwudgie or the creature or whatever it is.
Pukwudgie.
Some other type of
Yes, I remember you showing that picture to me, and it always made me nervous to go outside by myself after that.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the tree line.
Well, it's clear.
It's
so clear, and there's something up there. It's definitely not a shaved bear or something, like it's something different, something that we can't explain.
Oh my gosh.
And they're protecting something.
Well, and that's what I wonder too, is how many of the things that are seen are of like native descent that might be protecting the land for some reason, because I heard somewhere too that there might have been like a native medicine woman or a medicine man that worked or like lived on the grounds, and I wonder if their protection kind of has a part of it too.
Yeah, I mean the story about the medicine woman is that she had left her tribe, and this is like all documented. Like we have the story from the 1700s, and then she had come back after she learned like medicine work, and they deemed her a witch and burned her at the stake in Hinsdale. Now that didn't happen on the property where the house is, but it's a story for Hinsdale, and definitely the Native Americans were prevalent in that area, as there was a war going on between them and the settlers.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we heard the drumming coming from the woods, just randomly?
So many.
When it's crazy talking to people.
Or chanting or voices.
It just sounds like there's somebody out there. And I know, talking to a lot of people that have planned trips there, whether they've been there or not, a lot of people start having experiences and dreams leading up to the investigation. Because I know that happened to me and a couple other people, like leading up to it. It was almost like the house knew or the property knew that these people were coming, and they started having experiences and they started having dreams. And then you get to the house and it all makes sense, which I think is really cool.
And they're nonstop.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
You see signs and stuff like that. Like the very first time I went, I remember telling Tom, it was right around like the start of the school year, and they were doing like elections for like board members and stuff. And one of the signs, I took a picture and sent it to Tom, and it was vote Wilhelm for board, which Wilhelm's you remember that, Tom?
I do.
And I'm like, what's the chances of me seeing that name? And I know that that's a name associated with one of the entities at the house. And I'm like, I've never seen this name anywhere, but like we were talking about going to Hinsdale, and why am I seeing this now like that? People see stuff like that all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I
It's
had
true.
dreams, and I learned about the medicine woman because I had a dream before. I had never been to Hinsdale, and it was like 2 nights before I was supposed to go. I was sleeping, at least I thought I was sleeping, and I wake up and there's like a woman, and she has this shell or dish, and she's kind of going like this, back up and down my body and chanting. And I'm like, okay, you're dreaming. Wake up, wake up. And then I sit up, and she just disappears. And I was like, okay, I'm not sleeping. And then I mentioned it, I think, to Dan when I got to the house, and that's when you told me about the medicine woman. So I think things like that are really cool too.
Yeah.
Now,
It's good the coincidences that
yes,
happen, you know,
exactly.
and how things tie
Well,
together.
and how it ties people together. I mean, in reality, if I would have never gone to that house, Dan, I would have never met you. And I ended up meeting both of the boys because I knew you. And it's really weird how people just become connected because of this property. And now, we've all been friends for how long and work together and investigate together. And it's crazy.
Ate barbecue together too.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, because my dad is watching. My dad has mentioned those freaking fried pickles at least 3 times in like 2 days from that place that we went. I don't even remember the name of it, but he keeps talking about the fried pickles.
JD's, yeah.
Yeah.
JD's barbecue, yeah.
So aside from Hinsdale, what is the craziest paranormal experience that you've had that is kind of like top of the thing? Anytime somebody is like, that was the moment.
Well, there's usually a couple that I turn to, but probably when I first started off paranormal investigating, we gained access to a theater in my hometown called the Riviera, and I know Tom and Nate have been there and investigated there. But we had the whole theater to ourselves, and the team was down on the stage, and they were running some experiments with K2 meters, and they had them placed on the stage in the left, center, and right stage, and they were out in the people were sitting in the crowd just clapping, trying to get the spirits to come out and bow to the left, bow to the right, and that's what we were given orders to try to see if we could get the K2 meters to go off. And I had kind of went up. I did, you're searching for that personal experience, and I went up alone into the mezzanine, into the balcony area, and I was just sitting at the baby grand piano that was up there, and I saw this shadow come out of the wall where there's an organ was over in the back. Now we had the laser grid on, all the typical paranormal tools, and we had a camera running, and the light wasn't penetrating this thing, but it was coming closer to me, and I could slowly take your one breath of air, and you're holding your breath because you're just can't believe that you're witnessing something like this, and the chills, and I get goosebumps thinking about it to this day. And then this thing's coming towards me, like I'm frozen. I'm just frozen, like a super scared. I'm not gonna lie, super scared. And it glided right by me, like it glided right by me, didn't stop to say hello, glided right by me and went right into the projection room through the wall. And I just remember when it went into the wall, just taking a big, deeper breath of air. And then I got up and I ran down the stairs out into the street, and then everybody came running out after me, like, what happened? What, like, and I told my photographer, Louis, I'm like, go plaster that place with pictures right now up in the balcony. And he captured the thing. He captured it. It's like, we have this creepiest looking, it just looks like a face veering down at you from the balcony. And it's so creepy. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what I saw. Now we have proof of, there it is right there, like, holy crap. So that was probably like one of the most defining experiences that got me into it, wanting to do it even more, as far as the paranormal goes.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps. And those moments are so justifying because you're like, I knew I felt it. I knew I saw it. And like, getting that evidence is like, oh, it's just so justifying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
what's so great about it is the fact that when we went back there when we did the reboot of Behind the Shadows, we reenacted that experience that Dan just talked about for the show. And we ended up catching that amazing figure up on the balcony walking.
Mhm.
So, cheap plug. It's still out there on YouTube, I think, right?
It's on Dan's YouTube, I think. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's still out there.
Well, plug it away.
I just did.
So apparently that's an episode that has to be watched. If you guys caught that, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I wonder if it's the same entity that Dan saw when he was there originally. But and now I think about it, that would also be a great place to go back to at some point if we ever can, because that place really was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. And they're doing a whole big renovation there too as well. So I would, Dan, like, would you have interest in like going back there now that they've putting all this like new stuff in there just to see if that changed activity at all?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've added a lot to it, and it's amazing the work they've done. It's really cool. They've updated it for the future. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we could gain access to it. Like we have friends in high places in the city now that are friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the board. So it's really cool.
That would be cool. And that would be really cool to go back and see if you guys can get that same type of experience and see if you can get that same figure even.
Yeah, and I mean, we heard a woman scream at one point as well. That was pretty wild.
That's so crazy. Yeah, well, I mean, that would be a location we all have to get to. I'm inviting myself. I'm sorry. I literally just invited myself.
I mean, I guess you're kind of part of the team now, so.
Yeah, you can't get rid of me now. I'm like a weird fungus. You just can't get rid of me.
This has a little bit farther to drive, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's not too. I think I always times it by Hinsdale. I think I'm like 3 hours from Hinsdale. So however far, and I'm coming from Ohio. So no, it's not bad at all. But so what are some of the things you have coming up? I know you said you're going to Gettysburg Bash, which I'm excited because we're going to. So we'll be able to harass you in person. But what other fun things do you have coming up or looking forward to with the trips and?
Yeah, besides for those trips, I've committed to one other event, a Potographs event up in Michigan. And I'm sure I'll probably end up doing the Mid-Michigan Paracon this year because I was a regular at that event from the day that it was started until last year. So I would love to go back to that event. It's always been a fun event, and the people that run it are amazing. And again, it's all as I do step back into it, it's all contingent on Shaylee, and how she's doing. So, pray that I get to go. That's what I'm doing. Pray, kind of putting my focus on positive things for the future.
Yes, of course. And you've got a lot of love and support and positivity coming from all your friends and the community and the paranormal family. We're all absolutely rooting for her 100%. I think about her a lot.
Yeah, she gets a lot of love, and she does get to see all the comments. People comment on the posts, and people will send her cards and little things just saying we're thinking about you. Like just out of the blue. We know that there's energy and prayers coming from everywhere around the country, and actually in other countries too. So. Canada and England and Australia and all over the place.
See, and that's incredible. That shows, I'm going to get sappy for a moment, and the guys hate when I do this, but that just shows like the type of touch that you have on the field too. And I say that because I know me personally, I had gone through a really hard time when I first started due to other people's actions. And you were probably one of the few people that were there for me, gave me advice, told me to keep going, and actually gave me great advice. And I know I've heard a lot of people say the same thing, that when they felt like they had no one, they still had you. And I think that's incredible. And I think that has a lot to do with why everybody is so invested in what's going on, because you as a person, you invested in us as well. So that's my sappy part. I'll be done now.
Well, it's funny because me and Nate have a scene, and it's WWDD, and it's like, what would Dan do?
Yeah, absolutely.
We do.
Yeah. If we're making decisions, we often think, what would Dan do in this situation? We're going to make sure he's going to wear them at some point. Yeah.
They have used that many times in our chat. And I even think the one time we almost messaged you because we were driving to, I think, Monroe, and it was like a 6-hour car ride. And I swear 4 of the hours we were just talking about you.
We really were. Yeah.
It was all great stuff, but we were like, wow, we really sound like Dan's fan club right now.
Sound like it. We are. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So even when you're not around, your ears should be burning because we tend to talk about you a lot.
Well, I think a lot of it is just you wanting to put the energy out that you want to get in return, and I also look like a lot of people that are trying to start off in the field. People shun right away, like they don't give them the opportunities that they deserve. People, in order to grow, you need to have the opportunity. In order to have the opportunity, you need people to support you, regardless if you're making a bad decision. Everybody's gonna make bad decisions in life. And everybody's going to make good decisions in life, but you got to learn from those bad mistakes and move forward, and just keep and do it for yourself. Make yourself happy and make your people that surround you, happy, and don't worry about what other people think. And, those are just, I think that's common sense, but a lot of people just need to hear it sometimes. If I see somebody that's going down a wrong path, and I like them, damn straight, I'm going to get on the phone with them. I'm not going to send them a message. I'm going to call them up and say, dude, think about it this way, or think about this perception of what this might happen if you do this. So just, I try to put things into their head to think about. They have to ultimately make the decision themselves. But, I don't know. I never thought that I'd be like a counselor in the paranormal field, but, I do. I look at myself as maybe somebody that's been around for a long time, and if I can offer any advice in a positive way, and people want to accept it, that's great. If they don't, they don't have to. But it's it's what I would want done for me. I like to take advice, and it doesn't mean it's negative. That's why I always do it behind the scenes, because a lot of the times with social media, if you say something on a post trying to be positive, people take it the wrong way. So I need people to hear my tone. I need people to hear how I feel when I'm talking, and I want them to know that I'm reaching out in a positive way. And just, they can take it for what it's worth, or they don't have to take it at all. But, that's just kind of how I roll,
I know I can say with 100% positivity, I have been on one of the receiving end of those phone calls long ago.
Yeah.
I can say,
although I'm an instigator too.
Oh,
well,
yeah. Oh, don't. Oh,
hey, we love a little petty here and there.
Exactly.
I have been
what he means, though, is a story about this one night that I was at Hinsdale, and
maybe he shouldn't have been, but hey,
probably not. But we were working really hard, and I had accidentally locked Kat out of the house. Now,
was it accidental?
It was. It really was. Now, obviously, my house is about an hour and 20 minutes from Hinsdale, and Dan proceeded to really mess with her, tell her to wait at the Tim Hortons around the corner until I got home.
Poor Kat.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's a good one.
Well, we were filming, right? It was
Yeah.
It was a death, or we were filming. Yeah, so
the prior to I don't think we could say what it was, but yeah.
I basically said all the things to somebody else's wife that I would never say to my own, just to get a razz.
Yeah, she ended up.
She knew I was.
And she ended up pushing the air conditioner in through the window so she could climb through the window and into my drum set.
I love it.
That's actually hilarious. No,
Yeah.
we do. I mean, so I'm watching the chats on Facebook, and I think we might have started a new hashtag because people are hashtagging WWDD.
Love it. I love it.
We're gonna have to start putting that on T-shirts. Bree,
And there you go.
Yep,
Make a T-shirt, Dan.
we got
There
it.
we go.
Oh
There you
my
go.
gosh.
I could make a bracelet like the what would Jesus do and what would
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
What would
That's
you
right.
do? See, and you that would actually be great because sometimes the three of us in our chat, our petty likes to come out, and we need that bracelet for a reminder.
So, if you didn't know, Ashley likes to start things, but only in our chat.
No. In my defense, I never start it, but I am.
She damn sure finishes it.
I don't start it. I really try to be a nice, sweet person, but there are just some people that get a different version of me. And when they light that little flame, poor Nate and Tom have to hear about it in the chat.
It's usually just gifts of pettiness all the time.
But at least I do it in the chat and I don't destroy things. But Nate,
I got to see that side of her once on accident.
oh,
But we won't talk about that. It was just funny.
so
Oh, I'm going to have to hear this story now.
I will give the Cliff Note version. I won't go into details because that is between me and Dan. But for some reason, you guys all know Angela. So I have Dan in my phone and I have Angela in my phone. And for some reason, I don't know what the iPhone did. It combined their contacts and put them only under Angela's name.
The iPhone did it.
I swear to Moses, because even if you go and look now, they're still separate. I just had to put like a purple heart and a red heart so you can tell the difference, because every couple months it will put Angela under Dan and Dan under Angela. And it got me, it didn't, thank God it was Dan.
I do remember this story.
Yes, there was a situation that I had gotten upset, and Angela was involved in a good way. We were bouncing off of each other, right? For like 2 hours, I am texting. And I mean, I'm like, right? And I'm going off and off. And I had mentioned, I was like, and I just love Dan and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, huh? And I think at one point I was like, what? And he goes, this is Dan. And I was like, oh, Dan, I'm so sorry. And I was like, and I had to explain the whole situation that it was under Angela's name. And I didn't, and like, it was just, I was like, Dan, with everything you're going through, I would have never thrown this on you. I'm so sorry. And then in Facebook Messenger, he sends me Angela's contact and then goes, by the way, this is from Dan. And I'm like, I know. So
I love it.
He does instigate sometimes, but yeah, he had to be on the receiving end of my fit. We'll just say that.
But I gave you even with everything I was going through, I was able to squirt out some good advice, I think, too.
You did.
So
and you calmed
out.
me down and you made me see a good side of it. And you're right. And a lot of good things came out of that conversation. So it happened for a reason. And even when I told Angela, I was like, thank God, if it wasn't her, it was you. Because if it would have been anybody else, they would have thought I was crazy.
I mean, we do anyways, but we just learn to deal with it, you know.
I just don't like when people are mean to other people. And that really, like,
I agree.
That makes me go 0 to 60 when I see people being mean. And
well, if you're perceiving them to be mean via text message rather than speaking to them directly, that's a problem. So you need to step back and maybe talk to the person directly, and then hopefully it gets worked out like it did.
Well, with you worked it out because I chose to be the bigger person.
That's right. Sometimes it's all you got to do.
Now we're gonna have to change the graphic at the bottom to say WWDD all the time now.
I already thought about it. I'm gonna add it.
I love it.
We're gonna start selling merch. So say it.
All proceeds go to Dan.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. That's a great idea. Whoever wants a WWDD shirt, let us know. We will make you one, and all the money goes to Shaylee. There you go.
There you go.
I like it.
See, we have good ideas just on the spot here.
Mhm.
We have good ideas when we're trying to keep ourselves sane. Because
Could it be like one of those old strongman T-shirts with holding up the barbell with the BWWDD on the
that
barbell?
would
Oh,
be
there we go.
cute.
Yeah.
I like that. That would be really cute. See? Look at us. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I hate this time of the show. I already see Nate closing his notebook. That's normally
I'm not closing it.
That's normally his cue to me. Okay.
I was actually, Dan, have you put obviously 10 years of Hinsdale now for you? Have you thought about that, like in perspective? Like you've been there 10 years at this point. Does that seem like a real thing?
It doesn't even feel like it. It doesn't even feel like it. But then I look back at old pictures and all the times that we've had there, and like I just posted a picture from 6 years ago, and I'm like, damn, we've done so much since then. Like it's crazy. Like there was no shed, there was no driveway, there was the porch wasn't redone yet. Like there's just so much that we've done, and it just
Yeah, there were no crazy zombie strippers.
Zombie strippers in the back.
No. But a lot. It's cool because a lot of people come to me for advice on like locations. Like I've been talking to Brandon Elvis about his new location and giving him some advice. If he wants to take advice, great. He's on the right path. And it sounds to me like his new location is going to be amazing, and it's going to be good for paranormal investigators, and it's going to be another kind of similar. He's not going overboard on pricing, and I think that's important. Like trying to take care of the people. Like if my whole thing was like people charge so much for some of these locations, and it's like, why not fill it up? Why not just and then have a ton of great people there investigating, and instead of like 5 that want to pay $1,000.
Exactly.
I'd rather have the days filled and people, because maybe it wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have there's things that we've learned from other people that have been there that when I wasn't there. So it's all collective.
Your days are filled.
Yes.
They really are. It's crazy.
We've been trying to find an open day. We can't seem to find one.
Well, I just had June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th open up, and 2 of them already got booked.
Wow.
So,
yeah, you see them get canceled, and you post online, and they're usually filled within an hour. So
5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So thinking you've been there 10 years, where do you want to see Hinsdale go in the next 10 years?
I think that I'd like to I have the cabin idea where we can install a cabin there, but the other thing that I was thinking about is actually doing some like yurts, like where you can like stay overnight, maybe have blocks of days where people can just come and spend the night on the property and maybe not be in the house. So I thought thinking about like maybe putting those out on the backside of the pond, and then having like a different like a campsite, in a way where people can come camping there as opposed to staying because a lot of people are scared to stay in the house, but would stay on the outside of the house. And if we had semi-luxurious accommodations in a yurt, that would be, I think that would be cool. So it's just, ideas like that are running through my head, as far as like, how do I open this up to the people that don't want to come here, that are scared to come here, so they can experience it, and that's just one of the ideas, so I don't know. I don't know where it's going to be in 10 years, but hopefully it'll be going strong, and we'll be able to uncover more and just make the property even more beautiful. I also would like to take back, we've only taken back a few acres. We have 10 right now. We have all that acreage that goes back to the power lines, and being able to take back some of that as well would be cool to just be able to explore more as far as the property goes. So it's just a lot of work, to do it.
Yeah.
I was also thinking putting in a gun range for people to do like practice like shooting. I don't know, like it's in the middle of nowhere, so why not? Like we could really cool for people that like guns, like the target shoot and stuff like that. That would be a great place to do it as long as everybody's safe. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think of ways to make it more fun for people when they come. So it's an experience that It's like going to Disney for paranormal
It
investigators.
really is. That's the best way to describe it. 100%.
Yeah, actually, I couldn't describe it even better.
No, but if you got any ideas, let me know.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, if you think there's a way that we could improve it, or make a accommodation for people. I was thinking too, if we dig out that foundation, we could put something there too. Maybe somebody could stay
Mhm.
there, like a semi-permanent structure of some kind, or that would be a good place for the gun range too.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So,
I kind of just roll with things as they come. So
No, I think those are good ideas because
Yeah.
it also like allows for even you could bring even bigger groups, instead of just a handful of
Yeah.
people. Some people could be in the house, some people could be in those things. I mean, I think, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what happens with the house. Like I said, it's one that has kind of I've grown fond of, and anytime we talk about it, we're like, oh, we got to get back. We have to get back. It's definitely one of my favorite locations, and I don't feel scared there anymore. I don't think anything there is malicious or nasty. I think it's just wants to be heard.
yeah. The other thing I thought would be cool too is to rebuild a barn and actually have animals on the property, like original, like a goat or like a horse or something like
I
that.
like that idea.
Just to have,
Okay,
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
man, like
You got to get a donkey and name
A
him
donkey?
Eeyore. Yeah,
one that talks and says,
that
"I
would
love
be
you."
cute if you could teach him that.
So yeah, lots of ideas running through my head.
So I'll follow that up though with just a question: have you ever thought of purchasing another location?
I have. I've had other opportunities to purchase locations. It's just I feel like with my current situation and the way that I am, it would be difficult to manage everything that I have going on, like Haunted Magazine, Death Walker, Hinsdale House, my personal life. Going to events, stuff like that. I mean, it's just how can I add some? I mean, it would just be difficult. I can't be an Adam Kimmel. It's so hard. He is like he's like a god, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe someday if I relinquish some of the stuff that I'm doing, I maybe would do something like that.
Mhm.
But for now, I'm content with making Hinsdale one of the best paranormal investigative experiences for people.
I think we can all agree that it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we have this really cool new summer shirt. I'm just going to
Go ahead.
go to
Okay.
danielklaes.com.
Mhm.
It's really cool. It's like 1970s psychedelic skull with the Hinsdale house in the inside of it. And we have it in female V-necks and male regular shirts. And then we have just got all new rubber bracelets, 4 different ones that are really cool. One that glows in the dark. So they're all up on my site. If people want to
Which I
check
feel
them out.
like Ashley is now going to, just so she can put it up on the screen.
I'm trying, but my other computer is freezing. I'm trying to get there because I wanted to put it. I'm like, oh, I saw that shirt and it's really cool. So
Mhm.
I'm trying.
I saw the gears going in her head.
Yeah, she was doing something.
If I can get it to unfreeze. Yes, talk about the book.
Dan's book.
Well, that's also available on my page. There's going to be a sequel to that book.
I was
going
going to
to
ask you. You should write another one.
I've had some time to write over the past
Mhm.
year, so I do have quite a few chapters written, and I may combine it with my friend Angel, who's also an author and who's had experiences at the house, and she's written half of a book on the Hinsdale house. We might combine them both, and I can add my perspective to what she's experienced. So, well, it's that's the plan for now. So hopefully there'll be something coming out this year.
And I think honestly that's a good idea because this book. When did this book come out, Dan? This first one.
Oh, it's 7 years old.
So it wasn't you hadn't owned a Hinsdale all that long.
There's a lot has evolved.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot has evolved since I wrote that book. Some of the stories have changed from some of the history that we've uncovered, and have to correct all that. I mean, we do when we talk to people and we tell the stories at the beginning when we do tours and stuff like that. But actually have it written down would be nice.
Mhm. Did you find it actually?
I tried, but do I look defeated? It kept blocking the image for me. I think because I'm on a non-personal computer. But that's okay. I'm gonna share it on my Facebook for anybody who wants to see it, and I'll share the link so you can go over and get it. It's a really cool shirt. I saw it the other day, actually.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I like the colors in it too, so that makes it fun.
Yeah, I noticed it. It was it was cool looking. I will say also you do stock some shirts at the house.
Yes.
For if people go there.
I'm gonna try to do this the sneaky way and do it on my phone now, and get the shirt.
She's determined, at least.
I am.
You have more than just.
Yeah, I do try to keep. Yeah, we have like a little shop. You know, I've been getting cool stuff. We just got beer can holders that Hinsdale House can holders that are there. We got backpacks. We have sweatshirts in the fall, and I just ordered a few hundred T-shirts of different designs. So we have size small through 5X available at the house for people to purchase when they come there. And we have like pieces of the house from the renovation, and we have necklaces, bracelets. We have a lot of cool little things like mementos that you can buy when you're there if you want to.
My little
Nate's got Nate's got the shrine to Hinsdale back there.
Yeah, I see. This stuff Rick Perry made.
That is nice. Yeah,
Rick Perry made those out of the wood from the house too. Yeah. So.
And Rick was in the comments. I saw it.
Yeah, he was in there checking out.
Are you guys waiting on me? I'm trying.
You're not waiting.
My stuff is. I got it. Hold on. It's downloading. It's giving me the little. I'm trying to get the big picture. Hold on. Don't you make fun.
Don't you make fun of me? Eh?
Oh yeah, I did see that one.
See?
Yeah, I dig
it is.
It's really nice. Yeah,
I dig it.
Cool. There's some really cool things on there. You guys have to go check it out. I'm going to drop it in my. Yep. Look. Oh, his looks better than mine did.
That's the female V-neck. Some of the girls like those V-necks, right?
It's getting warm. Summertime's almost here, so
that's right. You would never know it by outside, but it's coming.
Oh.
It's been awful and rainy here all day.
Yeah, here too.
It sucks.
And it got down to like 40 degrees the other night, and there was a frost warning. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to bring all of our plants into the greenhouse because we were starting to get ready to plant like tomatoes and things like that, and I had gotten my wife a little mini greenhouse in the backyard. Thank God, like it's we were able to put all the plants in there so they didn't get all ruined.
We just have tornado warnings over here all the time. Kind of drives me. I'm pretty sure we live in Tornado Alley now, but
you can keep those.
That's a whole nother story. I swear every week there's some type of tornado warning, tornado watch. I don't even think we all pay attention to it anymore. But anyway, I hate this time because it always comes so quickly. But we have met the time for the show, unfortunately.
Have we?
Yeah, we did.
Are you sure? I didn't think we were on a time schedule anymore.
Okay, well then go ahead. Keep going, man.
Dan's a busy man. He's got stuff to do.
Yeah. I got orders.
He's got orders to pack.
Now Tom's being an instigator.
Yeah, maybe
I didn't catch that one.
Okay, Tom, and for that, now you can end the show.
Oh. Hey, well then, fine. I guess I'll end the show. Well, we want to thank Dan for coming on the show and talking to us about Hinsdale and everything he has going on. And what do we have planned for next week, Ashley?
So,
Zach Bagans. So awesome. I'm so glad you guys got Zach.
We got Zach.
I think I'm going to be sick that week.
Yeah.
No, actually, so next week's show is going to be a pre-recorded show. So we won't be able to. Well, kind of. So my husband is bowling in the national tournament. So we're going to be in Baton Rouge and Louisiana, or Baton Rouge and New Orleans next week. So I offered for the boys to do the show, but they said they didn't want to do it without me.
She also didn't invite us to New Orleans, and I'm really upset. So now I'm not doing it on principle alone.
Where are you staying? Where are you staying in Baton Rouge?
I don't know. So all I know is that it's a hotel and a casino.
Oh, okay.
And
that would probably be on.
Well, we know what Ashley's going to be doing.
Yeah.
I am learning to play poker.
I thought that the casinos were on riverboats, and then they connect to a hotel too.
Ooh.
Okay, is that true? Or are you messing with me?
No, it's 100%
Really?
true.
They're on.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to have casinos on the property, but the water is considered open waters, so the riverboats can have the casinos, and then they just park them close to a hotel.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, I'll be able to report back to
Yeah,
you guys
see.
next week and let you know.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm stowing away in your suitcase.
That's fine. I'm just taking a carry-on, so you got to curl up real small.
I'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Well, and I figured it'd probably be safer if I wasn't streaming from Bourbon Street. That could get a little messy. We could get us canceled.
What are you talking about? That's entertainment for everyone.
No.
We should just all be giving good vibes to her husband that he gets
Also
a
true.
300
Yes.
game during the tournament.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm sure he will too. I think he's gonna do pretty well. I'm gonna be in the stands doing little.
Don't worry, Nate will give him his good amount of quarters beforehand. So
That's another story. That's a different show.
That's enough.
Oh, I'm gonna tell. I'm telling Dan. I'm gonna tell him. So my husband has this saying: if there are any children watching, now is the time to turn the show. So my husband always has this saying, like when we want to do something that might be considered expensive, or when I say, hey, one day I want to go to Italy, he says, oh, kids, close your ears. He says, what do you want me to do? Suck dick on the corner for quarters? And he said that one time.
Oh my God.
And Nate said, I have a whole bag of quarters.
And that's been the joke ever since.
Yeah. So,
That's
so like
hilarious.
when they came over, Nate's like, I'm going to bring a bag of quarters and just set it in front of your husband. Like, yeah. So now it's a big running joke.
Great.
So
That's
yeah.
since day one.
Yeah.
And that was before we ever met him too, which was the best part.
Mm-hmm. It was before you guys ever met him. So from that moment, he was like, I like those two. You can investigate with those two. So it was a good icebreaker. So yeah, I'm sure he'll appreciate the quarters there, Nate.
Yeah.
Slot machines take quarters. I'm just saying.
I know.
Not anymore. It's all digital
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, just tap and go.
Yeah.
Technology, man.
But yes, so next week's show will be pre-recorded. We are not sure what we're talking about yet. We've got a couple things on the list. We thought about talking about Annabelle. Ironically, we thought about talking about Diddy. Speaking of quarters, there's a couple other things we've thought about talking about, but it will be pre-recorded. So unfortunately, we won't be able to interact with you guys. We won't be able to watch the chats or answer any questions. But Dan, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate you. We love you. And I can't wait for us all to get together in person soon.
Riviera Theater.
Nice.
Theater.
Yeah, right. But if you guys, before the show goes, hit that QR code. Go help support Shaylee. If you have any questions, there's a Facebook page I can share out that you guys can kind of watch her progress and how great she's doing and how strong she's been through the whole thing. Prayers and love are appreciated. And with that, we love you guys, and we will kind of see you next week. Everyone have a great night.
Yep.
There's also a few people in the chat
one,
that
guys.
want to donate to Nate's quarter fund now.
Oh. My husband's going to be a tired man with all those quarters.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.